So it's finally time I do Revenant's Remembrance quest. Now this is going to be all 3 parts in one video, and this is my least favorite Nightfarer, so that's why it took me so long to do. But with that being said, I'm going to provide you a step-by-step guide of every single thing you're going to need to know, everything from what steps to do and what Remembrance relics you're going to get. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Per usual, you cannot start Remembrances until you've defeated at least one Night Lord. So load up your Night Lord of choice, make sure he is defeated, and then you can start Chapter 1 of Revenant's Remembrance. So you're going to find yourself in the realm of Remembrance with Iron Menial standing right next to you. However, you are going to look at your map and find Duchess. You need to go over and talk to her to exhaust all of her dialogue. She is on the right side of the table next to a pile of rocks. She seems rather surprised that you've awakened, and she hopes that you settle in well. After you exhaust all of her dialogue, you can ask her the question, "Why did you bring me here?" and she'll proceed to have a few more things to say to you. This is the first time we're getting any kind of background story for Revenant, so make sure you pay attention here as it is quite important. Once you finish talking to her, you can go ahead, check your map once more to find Guardian, and he's going to be over in the next room next to the bookshelves. Once you locate him, you can go ahead and exhaust all of his dialogue. He doesn't seem too bothered by the fact that you have awoken or that you're here, and you can ask him to speak of your request. After talking to him, you are going to get a personal objective, and you're going to have to kill one of 2 different Night Lords, either Tricephalos or the Darkdrift Knight. I highly recommend Tricephalos because the Darkdrift Knight is actually incredibly hard, and you want to be able to get in and get out doing a smash and grab, so go ahead and start Tricephalos in order to get this Remembrance completed. Now, once you've completed your expedition in Limveld and down Tricephalos or the Darkdrift Knight, whichever one you have decided, head back to Roundtable Hold, and you're going to go speak to Guardian once more, who gave you the personal objective. After you exhaust all of his dialogue, you will then have your Remembrance completed, and you can exit there. Now, once you've exited your Remembrance, you will be greeted with the Small Makeup Brush relic. Now, the Small Makeup Brush is going to give you power while fighting alongside family, aka your summons, and increase rune acquisition for yourself and allies. Now, in order to start Chapter 5 with Revenant, you are going to have to kill a few more Night Lords. I believe I killed 3 in order for Chapter 5 to even show up, but once you've killed enough Night Lords, this chapter is going to show up for you, and you can go ahead and begin your Remembrance. So you'll find yourself in the realm of Remembrance. Go ahead and check your map, and once again, we're going to need to talk to Duchess on our left. Once you start dialogue with her, you're going to ask about the Knight's corrosion. She's going to have more dialogue here for you, and you can go with the prompt, "I'm afraid of the night." She'll then direct you over to Recluse, who is located in the courtyard on the far left of Roundtable Hold. So, you guessed it, we have to run out to the gardens, and she's going to be standing right next to a bench, and she will have some very interesting dialogue for you. She's going to help you fight the knight, but in order to do so, you're going to have to sit down on this bench, and you will be prompted into a scenario. You'll find yourself in a very, very long hallway, and you need to follow the hallway all the way into the next room where you're going to see yourself sitting in a chair. As soon as you get close, the corrosion boss is going to start spawning, and you need to go ahead and kill all of the corrosion and get that health bar all the way down to nothing. At the very, very end of this entire encounter, you will then have an opportunity to go over and interact with the doll, an ordinary doll carved with inexpert letters that read, "My darling little Daphne." Once you've done this, you will be released from the scenario, and you will find yourself on the bench once again with Recluse. Exhaust the rest of Recluse's dialogue, and then this Remembrance will be completed. Now, there are 2 ways that you can get out of this Remembrance. The first one, which I didn't do, is right behind the bench on the right. There's going to be a little sigil on the ground that you can go out of your Remembrance, or you can head back to the journal, which is what I did, and hit Conclude Remembrance, coming back to the regular world. Once you come out of the Remembrance, you're going to get the Revenant's Chalice, which is going to have 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 white slot. Now, in order to activate Revenant's very last Remembrance, Chapter 7, I had to kill 2 more Night Lords. Once I did that, I could start the Remembrance, and the first thing you're going to need to do in that Remembrance is check your map, and you're going to see an exclamation point on the far left side of Roundtable Hold all the way in the garden. This is going to be where Recluse is, and once again, we're going to need to go seek her guidance and head out and exhaust all of her dialogue. After we do that, she's going to prompt us to sit down on the bench once more, and we will have one more scenario to go through. It starts very similar to the previous scenario, except there's a few changes like bright flashing lights outside of the windows. Once you get into the room where the corrosion was in the most recent Remembrance, you're going to have to fight the Contaminant, which is a Royal Revenant. Now you still need to be careful in this fight as your summons can lose aggro and the Revenant can come after you, but this is a pretty straightforward Revenant fight, so make sure to hide behind your summons. If you have any pots in your inventory, definitely use those. But after you kill this Revenant, you'll get the Darkness Banish prompt, and then you will receive a cutscene. Now, I'm not going to play the cutscene in this video for those people who have not seen it, but in my opinion, it's one of the most jacked up cutscenes that I have ever seen in a From Software game, so take that for what it's worth. But once your cutscene is completed and you've figured out where Revenant has come from, you will then find yourself once again on the bench next to Recluse. You'll go ahead and exhaust all of her dialogue, and then this entire Remembrance chain is going to be completed, and that will be the final Remembrance for Revenant. Once you exit the Remembrance, you will be greeted with her Remembrance skin and the Old Portrait relic. The Old Portrait actually is going to be really good. It's going to give you an extension on your own HP to fully heal nearby allies when activating your art. It's also going to trigger that Ghost Flame explosion during the ultimate art activation, and defeating enemies is going to fill more of your art gauge, which is always good on any Nightfarer. Hey guys, there you have it. That is going to be it for the Revenant Remembrance quest lines. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below as I go back through and check out each one of those comments, especially for questline type videos, because if there is a problem, I want to make sure it's corrected really fast. So if you like the content, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out, and until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.